We are closely following up on all stories of national interest on this platform. Nigeria's recession will be over soon, and that's coming from Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The Vice President blames the current negative situation on the destruction of oil facilities in the South-South region and the sharp drop in the price of crude oil in the international market. As he says, the economy recession facing the country will not last long. The electoral umpire in Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced Wednesday, the 28th of September, as new date for the Edo State governorship election in a dramatic U-turn from its initial position not to be teleguided. INEC says its decision is based on better appraisal of the situation. And the convener of the Bring Back Our Girls group, OBS Equestally, has condemned a statement credited to the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, that the activities of the group were threatening the peace of the Federal Capital Territory. She has charged the police to get more enlightened on constitutional issues rather than violating constitutional liberties of the people. You can see right here data feeds coming through in one place simultaneously on all of our social media platforms. You can be part of the show. Tweet at me at KAY Alayode, and you can also use the hashtag State of the Nation to be part of the conversation. It's prime time in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I'm Kayode Alayode, and this is State of the Nation. Right behind me, data feeds is still coming through in one place simultaneously in all of our social media platforms. To be a part of the show starting right now, use the hashtag State of the Nation. Better still, you can tweet me at KAY Alayode. We'd like to have your thoughts on matters arising. Let's take a dive now. Now, economic recession, now the matter is not prejudiced at all. The economy and recession is starting. Let's take it this way. It affects everyone. The cost of commodities are going higher. Jobs are being lost. The business closing down. Everyone is having trouble. School fees are soon going to be paid now, and everyone is scared. Everyone is troubled. People can no longer afford the things that they used to. They are all telling tales and signs of the recession, the economic recession. Now, I have joining me via Skype Mr. Tilewa Adebayo. He is an economist. Thank you very much for joining us on the show at this time. Mr. Tilewa, tell me, when all hell is breaking loose, people can no longer afford the things they used to afford. At times like this, as an economist, what should we do?
Good evening. First of all, the most important thing is to stay calm and assess the situation. A recession has its ups and its downs. With every economic system, there are downturns, there are boom and bust cycles. Right now, we're in a downturn, and we have to be very systematic the way we manage the whole system. The problem we've had is in terms of how the government needs to restore confidence, not only to the economy, but to business and also to the financial markets. And we're suffering from confidence. Once there's confidence in the system, despite or in spite of the recession, I think people can begin to take a look at how we can get ourselves back up and rebuild the system into a more sustainable one. The problem of Nigeria has been that of consumption. Most of our growth has been towards consumption. Government has been funding mostly recurrent expenditure, borrowing to fund recurrent expenditure, and we have not made the necessary investments, and we're paying the price. I'll give you a very good example. About 8 years ago, our excess crude reserves were at $17 billion. Now, we did not save any of that money. A lot of governors, including 2 serving ministers today, went to court saying that that money had to be spent by the governors. If we had saved half of that money in the sovereign wealth funds today, at least you would have had a cushion.
Mr. Tilewa, allow me to jump in right now. I totally understand when you say that we should stay calm, and you've also referred to the fact that as a nation we haven't saved when we had the windfall. Now, but it's difficult for someone to stay calm when the bills are staring you in the face. So many things are happening at the same time. How can one cope in a situation like this? I'm talking about the average, ordinary Nigerian. We have the statistics that came in recently that a huge percentage of Nigeria, more than 2%, just less than 2% of Nigerians have up to 500,000 naira in their savings account. It's very difficult for an average Nigerian to stay calm in the face of this crisis.
True, and I think that you've hit a very important point. But having said that, you also have to be systematic. You cannot panic, because if you panic, you're not going to be thinking very well. Let us take a look at where the silver lining is in this system. Agriculture contributes to 25% of our gross domestic product, which is our GDP. And that is the only sector currently in this economy today that is growing. Agriculture is growing at about 4.75%, despite or in spite the recession. Financial service, insurance, they're losing by about 12% loss year to date. So if you understand where to focus, then I think what a lot of people need to do is that no matter what you're doing, this is the time for Nigerians to go back to the land. Even if you live in Lagos, you live in Abuja, you live in Port Harcourt, you need to go back to the land. You need to start farming. You need to get 5, 10, 1 hectare of land somewhere in your village or somewhere and go into production. When you go into production,
all right, Mr. Tilewa,
you begin to
I take your point.
Practical issues that we're looking at.
Mr. Tilewa, I take your point right now. Just recently, a former finance minister, Dr. Kalu Idika Kalu, at a forum expressed a different and quite interesting view on the issue of recession. And he has said that we're not even battling recession right now. We're in deep depression. What's your response?
I agree with that from a technical perspective. You know, you've asked me to take a look at it from the point of the ordinary Nigerians that you've mentioned, who has in their savings account not a lot of money. What are the survival strategies? We can get very technical, and we will. But I'm just trying to prefer very, very simple solutions. It's quite interesting what the governor of Benue State has done, and which he's declared that on Friday, he's given a work-free day for his civil servants so that they can all go and tend to their farms, and specifically a day off to tend to their farms. Now, Benue State is very productive from the agribusiness perspective, and I think definitely this will be able to boost the incomes of a lot of his civil servants who he really cannot afford to pay their salaries.
All right, Mr. Tilewa, thank you very much for your thoughts. Mr. Tilewa, an economist joining us via Skype from Abeokuta. Thanks a bunch for offering your perspective on the state of Nigeria's economy as well as the recession. Thank you once again.